Hi there, Steve from Steve M Outdoors, and today I'm going to do a video I swore I was never going to do, the what's in your range bag video. However, I figured it might actually be a good idea because I do get asked questions occasionally. What are the things that I should bring out to the range, or if I'm going shooting, in order to make the experience as pleasant as possible? So I'm going to go into what it is that my range bag has, and hopefully it'll help you out. So about the bag itself, I picked this up a couple of years ago from a gun rights group here in Canada. It cost about $100 Canadian. I haven't seen it listed on their website recently, so I don't know if they still sell it, but it was National Firearms Association. They had it on sale on their website. And it's actually the only reason I chose it was because it's a fairly roomy bag and I didn't want to do the backpack thing, which I have done occasionally. So let's leap into it. So on the side here, I always carry Bug Dope, which up here in Northern Ontario in the summer, the spring and the summer, is an incredibly good thing to have in your your range bag. And in the other bag, outside of my range card, which you don't need to see, a little bit of sunscreen. Always a good idea to have. I'll just leave that over there. In the other side, over here, your bog standard stapler. Gotta have a stapler to hang your targets. And I also carry a pretty healthy supply of staples. Now I keep them in an Altoids tin, or any tin will do, just because if you leave them in the cardboard package, they do tend to get banged around a lot. Then you get a bunch of little single staples in your bag, and you may as well toss those because God knows they're not going to be of much use to you after that. So getting into the actual bag itself, up here I carry spare ear pro because sometimes I find that the ear pro that I carry interferes with my cheek welds, so I do carry a little bit of a supply. I also carry some safe flags just in case we have a range safety officer who's a safety Sally and wants everything documented. A notepad in here for taking notes, and some pens and pencils to write notes down with. I carry the pencils because in the winter, pens don't tend to work very well. So you want to carry a couple pencils with you. Now, onto the guts. In here, and I've already made a video on this, so you can check that out in my playlist, and I'll put a link in the description to it. This is my range toolkit, and this is basically tools and supplies I need to fix issues. Always a good idea to have one with you, because there's nothing worse than a range trip ending early because you didn't have your rifle or a handgun malfunctioned. So always have one of those. Ear Pro, bog standard. You know what they are. I'm not going to bother showing you. Ear Pro, and I prefer the Howard Lights Impact Sport model. They have the electronic functions, so you can amplify voices and you can actually hear people talking to you when you're shooting. I find they work well, and for the price, if you look on Amazon or other places and just wait, they often go on sale. You can actually pick them up cheaper than they really are. Additionally, shooting gloves. Good to have in colder weather, or your rifle stock's a bit slippery. Spotting scope. I tend to shoot precision shooting with some of my rifles, so having a spotting scope is definitely a good idea. This one's not the greatest. It does the job, but it is a Bushnell, one of their lower end models. I made the mistake of trading a vintage 1960s Leica spotting scope, I think it was, but it was very heavy, and I found that it made my bag heavier than it really needed to be. So I traded it in for some cash, bought that one, and I've regretted it ever since because that scope had awesome glass and it was very clear. This one does go out a little bit further in the zoom, but I find it's not as good as the one I had. Now this is an optional thing, a shooting stand. This one is pretty heavy. It's a Caldwell shooting stand. Got this one on sale for 26 bucks. I'm sure they're cheaper in the United States. It's very heavy though, as you can imagine by the iron feet. My range recently was renovated and somebody was very kind and donated a pile of shooting bags. So I'm tempted to remove that from my range bag and just use the ones that can be found there. Also, as part of the toolkit, just your bog standard cleaning rod. I dislike these screw together ones because they are made out of cheap, aluminum, I guess. But they do the job in a pinch. I just dislike them because they do break, especially right at the where the threads are. Break there constantly. I've broken a pile of them, and for some reason I can never create another full set out of all the broken ones that I have. Just luck of the draw, or unluck of the draw. Now, another optional thing, but I find if I'm measuring groups at the range, I do have a set of calipers. These aren't the greatest. I used to use these in reloading, but I kind of upgraded my calipers. But in a pinch, they're good for measuring groups, or anything else for that matter. And it's not a CBS, so I mean, it's not horrible quality. All right, next. There's a little side pouch here, as you can see. I keep a notebook, as you can see, helpfully entitled Guide. And this just basically, I have a page or two for each rifle. Here you can see AR-15, and I just write notes about, scope elevation, where it should be set for certain types of ammunition, point of aim, point of impact for rifles whose sights I cannot adjust very easily, which often is the case with military surplus rifles. M91 PU, there's the elevation and the windage setting for 100 yards. And that's something I like to keep handy for each rifle, and then that way I'm never surprised each time I'm at the range as to why the hell my rifle isn't shooting at impact, or aim, sorry. I also carry a wide selection of targets. These I'll use for like 22 shooting. These are Dot Torture. If you were a follower on my Facebook page, this is basically a handgun exercise. And if you're ever interested, just type in TDA Dot Torture and you will find them for both single action and double action handguns. This one I think is for double action. Yeah, this is double action. These are single action. More 22 and larger rifles. Just a different pile of stuff for different rifles. I also carry, and I don't have it in my bag because I actually used the last of them up this morning when I was at the range, is I also use these large ones. And these ones I use at 100 and 200 yards to shoot rifle with. I usually just carry them rolled up with a Velcro strap to keep them all together so that they don't fly apart. And that's basically about it. As you can see, I don't carry a crazy amount of stuff with me because I find that the more that you have in your bag, the heavier it is, and lugging that damn thing around can be a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's about it. Like I said, the only amendment I would make to my current range bag is I think I am going to stop bringing this thing around with me because it is heavy. It brings the bag's weight up by at least, 10 pounds. No, maybe not quite that much, 5 pounds. But I mean, if I don't have to carry it, why bother, right? Oh, actually there is one more thing. And it's filled with brass from my 223 shooting this morning, but I do carry kind of a dump bag, whatever you want to call it. They use these for magazines and the like. I just put all my brass in there as I'm firing. And then that way I can bring it home, process it, and then get it ready for reloading. But it can be used for anything else, of course. That's it. That's the entire contents of my range kit. I know some of you out there are wondering, hey, where's your first aid kit? My range has a number of first aid kits located throughout the facility. So if I do get in trouble, they actually have one. And I also have one in the back of my Jeep too. So I do have a first aid kit. I just don't have it in my range bag. But I'm never more than a few feet away from a fully outfitted first aid kit. Well, I guess that's about it. As always, thank you very much for watching. And if you did enjoy this video, if it did help you out a little bit in deciding what you want to put in your range bag, please feel free to like and share the video. It just kind of helps whatever algorithm Google uses to help promote this channel. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell icon to get notifications of new videos. That's really about it. As always, happy shooting, safe shooting.